Can you kick that back to us?
Ooh.
What?
Great. Fucking up my hearing. I can't tell if it's the creek sometimes or something rustling around in the forest.
Basically, I was turning in for the night and I heard a grunt and it sounded like this. Woo!
Shit, made me turn my torch off.
Wilderness encounters often catch us completely off guard when we least expect it, like fresh claw marks suddenly appearing on a tree, or human screams echoing through the pitch-black woods. Is nature playing tricks on us, or are we being watched? On March 30th, 2023, Luke from Outdoor Gear Review returned to his hidden green forest to search for possible signs of Bigfoot. Although skeptical, strange guttural sounds he had recently heard during a storm made him question what might be living there. He had also found broken trees arranged in unusual ways, giving the area an unsettling feeling.
To explain what's taken place and why I'm doing this episode, why it's been requested. So over the last year or so, I've been coming up here to what I call the Green Forest. I've had numerous odd experiences. The first odd experience began someplace on top of this mountain. I was hiking up and I came across what looked like a trail. And along this trail, all of the trees have been broken and basically like stacked, like leaned in a certain way. It was rather odd. A few months later, I was hiking to this location. I was coming through the woods and I startled something big. As soon as whatever it was heard me, it burst through the forest. You can hear it breaking limbs and snapping trees as it ran. Whatever it was huge. Then last week I came out here for a camping trip. I was inside of the tent, it was raining outside, it was beginning to storm. Basically, I was turning in for the night and I heard a grunt and it sounded like this. Woo! One time only, that's it. What was that sound? I have no idea.
While searching, Luke noticed moss torn from a tree trunk exposing deep claw marks. Soon after, a heavy branch snapped somewhere nearby, echoing through the quiet forest.
I just noticed another spot where the moss has been torn off this tree. And check that out. Claws have gone through that. I sure do love this landscape. It is gorgeous out here. Thought I heard something. Thought I heard a branch break. I could have. It is windy. But it sounded lower down.
He followed game trails past bear scat and moved into thick undergrowth where visibility dropped to about 20 feet.
Okay, so check this out. There's a game trail through here. We came up from this way and just hopped on this trail, but it goes from over there to over here. Let's follow it for just a bit. See if we can spot any tracks or anything. Oh yeah, check this out. The bear's been coming this direction and going over this fallen tree. All of the moss has been knocked off.
Luke then placed cameras near a log that appeared to have been moved by something very strong.
Okay, it's set. The thing about this forest, everyone, with it being so dense, it can feel like somebody's out here watching you or something, and you're not going to know because you're not going to see them.
Later, Luke checked the footage and found only bears, but his final discovery still confused him.
Thousands and thousands of people that I've spoken to after putting up these episodes, not a single person can provide any evidence. If you feel that you have some evidence to share, feel free to email me. I will not share it with anyone else. I may tell you that I disagree with your assessment, but hey, that's how it goes. That's life. I have spoken to people literally all around the world in so many countries, and these viewers feel like they've had a Bigfoot experience. A scientist will tell you that there's a big problem with this, because if there's that many people having experiences with Bigfoot, then why can't Bigfoot be found? Why can't a picture be captured? If that many people have had experiences and no evidence has been captured.
A large broken tree now blocked a trail that had been completely clear the day before.
This was not here yesterday. I'm so confused, everybody.
Dense forests can block sight and make sounds difficult to locate, which can increase the feeling that something is nearby. Maybe there is a simple explanation, but the timing makes it strange. What do you think happened? On September 11th, 2024, the YouTube channel Work Less Enjoy Life More shared a remote camping trip in Arizona. After years of hoping to stay at this particular spot, he finally found it empty and set up camp for a cold night in the wilderness. Once he arrives, he sets up the awning, lights a fire, and gets ready for a cold night. The campsite feels ideal, but also very isolated. With the dogs nearby and daylight already gone, he settles in and begins preparing dinner. Later, he cooks a large chuck roast in a Dutch oven over the fire, while trying to keep enough heat going as the temperature falls.
Dinner has been smelling so good. It's just over there boiling away, and that smoke, or that steam smells so good. I noticed that down the road, there was somebody giving away free firewood. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, if I'm going to stay here multiple nights or what, but if I do stay another night, I think I'm going to have to drive down there and grab some more firewood. Oh, that looks so good. It already looks like it's falling apart. It's not even been maybe it's been an hour. Let's get some more charcoal under this thing.
The campsite becomes quiet and dark as he waits for the food to finish, while his supply of firewood and charcoal starts running low. When dinner is finally ready, he eats beside the fire and talks about why he enjoys staying in Arizona, instead of constantly moving from place to place like other nomads.
I have quite a few friends that are nomads. And I've noticed a difference between us. I just don't have the drive like they do to be in different places all the time. It seems like everybody I know that's a nomad, after they camp in a place for a day or two, they just have to move on. And I just have never had that feeling. I have always just enjoyed Arizona. I have a lot of people ask me why I don't really travel outside of Arizona. But I guess that's just why. I'm just comfortable here. I like it here. This is my favorite state. I've been to almost every state, and this is just by far my favorite one. So
the peaceful evening feels like a break from everything, but the cold eventually sends him inside the camper with the dogs. During the night, he wakes to unusual howling nearby. At first, it does not sound like coyotes, even though he has heard them throughout his life. The strange sound leaves him wondering what might have been moving outside the campsite. The next morning, after sleeping late, following the cold night, he realizes the small heater has used a large amount of his power.
see the wires going out, and then I had to put my my extra set of solar panels out, which I'm just now noticing are already in the shade, and I just moved them 5 minutes ago. I probably had that heater running 3 or 4 hours, and we're at 47%. We were about 39% this morning when I got up about an hour ago. So, I mean, it's charging. I'm also using a little bit, 8 watts, which isn't a lot, but...
With storms forming nearby, no cell service, little firewood left, and concerns about the awning and heavy rain, he decides leaving may be the safer choice. While walking the dogs, thunder begins rumbling in the distance, and the wind starts getting stronger. As the storm continues to build, he packs up and leaves before conditions become worse. At night, animal calls can travel farther through quiet, open areas and may sound unfamiliar depending on distance and terrain. That could explain the strange howling, but stories of Bigfoot often describe deep, unusual calls heard in remote places. So was it just a coyote sounding different in the dark, or something much larger moving near the campsite? On June 9th, 2026, Jasko from the YouTube channel Jasko returned to an abandoned cabin deep in the Appalachian Mountains. Drawn back by something he still could not explain, he entered the area shortly before midnight, returning to the place where a strange shape had previously been seen near the window. With cameras recording and equipment running, the quiet surroundings felt tense from the moment the investigation began.
We are staying inside of this abandoned cabin in the Appalachian Mountains. This place is absolutely... What? What?
Wait, in the window.
What'd you see?
Wait, it was literally like, I don't know, like a shadow or something, like moved. Wait, shine the light out there a little bit more? I don't know, bro.
You saw a figure?
It was like a weird shadow, bro. Yeah, it was like tall, moving. I don't know.
As Jasko and his team watched the darkness below the cabin, their uneasiness grew. A faint figure with a reddish appearance seemed to stand among the shadows. Moments later, a whistle came from somewhere in the distance, making them question whether someone else was nearby.
Yeah,
Bro, it looks
yeah.
like a figure.
It's all red except for right in there in the middle.
There, it looks like there's like a figure down there.
What the heck?
That was a whistle.
What did you get me into? You're the one that found this place.
Fuck, bro.
Inside and around the cabin, the tension increased. Something appeared to move near the open doorway, and a ball suddenly came back into view. The group called toward the darkness but received no response. Soon after, they heard what sounded like something slowly being dragged across the ground. The feeling changed from hearing movement to believing that something might be staying nearby and watching them.
Could startle whatever is in there. Hello?
Okay.
Don't step over here.
Don't step over.
Don't step over here, no.
Wait, Chandler, listen.
What?
I hear movement.
Hello?
Can you kick that back to us?
Oh.
What?
Great, you lost our ball.
Okay, no. You didn't hear that? Listen. It sounded like something was getting drugged.
Fear spread through the group as they looked toward the trees, and the possibility of something darker was mentioned.
Oh my god.
Okay, so incantations, demon. What kind of demon are we talking about? Again.
Well, do we have it? We're getting all that occult witch style, like spells and stuff. Like, is there any witches over here?
I heard died.
Are the witches dead?
Isn't there songs like Ding Dong, the witch is dead?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Then, another strange shape appeared near the woods. What seemed like reflected eyes could be seen in the darkness below, causing immediate alarm. As they continued watching, the unclear figure seemed to remain near the trees.
What'd you see?
Wait, right behind that one, like, okay, right. See on the left, there's like that tree branch like sticking out.
Yeah.
I thought I saw like eyes down that way.
What?
It looked like it was far down there though.
It said me. Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hello? I heard demon again.
Yeah, I see something.
What?
Come here.
Is it like what I saw?
Hold on, I have an idea. I'm gonna take a night shot photo.
Finally, something appeared to be standing behind a tree. Jasko and the team froze and raised their flashlights, but the shape remained difficult to identify. Their fear grew as they realized that whatever was down there seemed to be facing their direction.
Oh my god, bro, why does that look like someone's standing behind the tree? Why does that look like someone's... Who the fuck is there? Yo, who's there? Yo, who's there? Bro, look at that.
That is actually kind of insane. You'd think you would see eyes. Like if we shine a light down there, you know?
Jesus.
Where's my phone? Okay, I got my phone.
Can you use your light too?
I'm gonna use my light as my, yeah.
Please.
In low light, the human brain can turn unclear shapes into familiar forms, especially faces, eyes, or human figures. Reflections and limited visibility can make distant objects appear more threatening than they really are. Maybe the darkness was creating shapes that looked more frightening than they really were, but the repeated sounds and movement made the team feel watched. What do you think was standing near those trees? On April 11th, 2026, Luke Croissant from the YouTube channel Dead Appalachia explored his family's remote property in Rome Mountain, Tennessee. Located near the Appalachian Trail, the farm borders thick forest where Luke wanted to look for possible signs of unusual creatures approaching the livestock. The land also holds 4 old graves with some dating back to the Prohibition era.
It's very isolated, located in Rome Mountain, Tennessee, a very rural region with lots of mountains and deep old-growth forests. In fact, the Appalachian Trail, that big famous one that runs from Georgia to Maine and takes about 8 months to finish, runs right behind the farm. And it's been more than a couple of times that thru hikers have gotten lost while hiking the AT. They just wandered onto our property and we've had to escort them off of our property. And on top of all that, there are 4 grave sites on the property, some of them dating all the way back to the Prohibition era. So the farm might even be haunted. This is the perfect farm to investigate. So I'm taking 2 buddies with me up there to stake out the outer edges of the property where the farm meets forest.
As daylight fades, the group notices a donkey staying close to the livestock as a guardian. The animals appear alert while the team prepares to explore the property after dark.
Got some cows down yonder. Hey, fellers. Look, dude, we're getting company. Arr. Oh, God, dude. Oh, there's a donkey, too. Y'all see the donkey? You know, there's a donkey with them. I think that's their livestock guardian donkey. donkeys are often used in these Appalachian farms as livestock guardians. They'll follow the cows and the chickens, and if anything like a coyote comes to attack them, the donkey will literally grab the coyote by the neck, by the nape, and like fucking swing him around.
Using thermal cameras and night vision, Luke and his friends begin checking the farm's perimeter. They move along the edge of the forest, watching the darkness for anything unusual.
We're gonna patrol the perimeter of the farm with night vision. I have my thermal camera. We're gonna see if we can catch anything crazy out here. Let's get to it. The trees are looking spooky, dude. What do you think? Is that one a leshy? Eric, go touch it again.
Okay. No, this is just a normal tree.
Okay. You hear that? Alright, yeah, I don't. Oh my god, dude. I don't see a lick of anything out here. Let's keep going.
Mine's doing nothing. How's mine? Is mine?
Soon, a pack of coyotes starts calling in the distance. The farm's Great Pyrenees dogs answer with loud, aggressive barking, making the already tense surroundings feel even more intense.
Them's our coyotes. There's a pack yonder, and that may be our dogs responding to them. And they're still barking. I keep thinking I see eye shine, but it's probably just those houses out yonder.
Oh, there's barbed wire.
There is.
Barbed wire. You almost got it like wrapped around your leg.
Got a tar.
It's a bald tar right there.
And a pile of shit.
Tired.
Later, Luke goes alone toward an old grave beneath a cedar tree. Suddenly, a heavy thud sounds close beside him, but when he checks the area with his thermal camera, the woods appear empty.
Fucking up my hearing. I can't tell if it's the creek sometimes or something rustling around in the forest. I think it's just a hunting blind. Yeah, that's real cool. I've never seen a trailer be used as this before. I guess one of my relatives brought this out here to do some hunting for deer.
Luke eventually returns to camp, admitting that standing alone in the hollow feels very different from exploring with the group. Guardian dogs and donkeys are often used to protect livestock because they can sense approaching predators and react before people notice anything unusual. That makes the strange silence around Luke's later encounter even more unsettling, especially when a heavy thud came from near the graves, but nothing appeared on the thermal camera. Maybe there was a simple cause just beyond view. But what do you think Luke actually heard in the darkness? On May 28, 2026, Angelo from the YouTube channel Exploring with Angelo shared a strange investigation in Japan near Lake Chuzenji. After dealing with freezing temperatures and difficult terrain, the group moved toward the mysterious Kanmangafuchi Abyss, an area known for its historic Jizo statues and a nearby cemetery. What began as a normal night in the forest slowly became unsettling. As the silence deepened, Frank began to feel as though something was moving close behind him, making both of them question whether they were truly alone in the dark.
What's up?
Could have sworn like something was behind me,
Like this direction?
like here,
Oh.
and it was multiple times. Like I came, brought wood.
Yeah. Like
I
a
turned
feeling or like you heard something?
Like it sounded like somebody walking or something walking right behind me. That's why I don't know. if
I
it's
know, we keep
scary.
hearing like earlier, it sounded legit like there was something walking back here.
It's just it was a little more weird because it sounded like it was right behind me.
Yeah.
Later, something seemed to move somewhere in the darkness. While Frank slept, the area around the camp began to feel increasingly strange.
I just heard something out there. I think Frank is asleep. Been kind of like in and out of sleep. I fell asleep for like literally 30 seconds. He's asleep. What was that? It sounded like something was walking. Just gonna see if I hear it again.
quiet became uncomfortable and Angelo heard something outside while drifting in and out of sleep. As the night continued, the feeling of being watched became stronger. Angelo felt that something might be staying nearby instead of simply passing through the area. Whatever caused the feeling remained hidden, but its presence seemed close.
I don't know what it is, but there's something about this particular spot right now. It's like something's kind of lurking, like watching us. There's something here other than a bear.
Then something suddenly rushed past them too quickly to understand. It felt like a large, invisible force, or a powerful burst of air moving close by. The same strange sensation happened more than once, leaving both of them confused and unable to explain what had caused it.
Whoa. What the hell? How is that possible? The same thing, like a giant thing just ran by me, or a breeze, like a blast of air. How is...
That doesn't...
Okay, come on. Like,
it literally doesn't even make
I can't
sense.
explain that. That is weird.
Multiple times to both of us? That is weird.
I just find it weird. It was shortly after you said bye.
Oh, true. Okay. Oh, yeah, sumanasai.
Bye.
After that, the conversation faded, and the forest became quiet again. Maybe the strange sensations had a natural cause they could not identify in the dark. But why did both of them experience it more than once? On June 11th, 2026, Moxley's Paranormal World explored a sealed abandoned military base surrounded by years of disturbing reports. The location had been linked to paranormal activity and alleged alien encounters, while previous investigators were said to have left. After unsettling experiences they could not explain.
Hello? You've had to leave here a couple of times, haven't you?
Every time.
Every single time. Oh, you okay? Hello?
Hello?
Is there someone there?
Soon after entering, the silence was interrupted by what sounded like heavy movement from somewhere below. The noise quickly stopped, but the tense atmosphere remained.
There is no chance of us leaving, no matter what happens here tonight. Do you know what? That's very bold words, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
But that's what we're going to try and do. Look at that. Oh! Shit, maybe turn my torch off. Oh, it's a crow. It was a crow. Jesus, yeah, he's gone. My God, I just seen this shadowy figure coming towards me.
Despite their hesitation, the team continued deeper inside. A sharp sound suddenly came from behind a barricaded section, stopping them in their tracks. At first, they considered a simple explanation, but the noise seemed to come from somewhere hidden behind the boards.
There's something behind the board. Listen. Could have just been a vibration.
As they moved forward, the feeling of being watched became stronger. Then another disturbance broke the silence, and an unclear shape appeared to emerge from the shadows.
That didn't just happen. That did not just happen. What in the f was that?
Moments later, a loud scream echoed through the darkness, increasing the team's fear that they might not be alone. Before leaving, the team warned anything present not to follow or interfere with them. A response then came through the spirit box, followed by another message that appeared to match something from a previous encounter.
I'm going to say something before we go. We have not walked into a trap here tonight. You will not harm us spiritually. You will not follow us.
I'm attached.
I'm attached.
No, you're not. You're not attached. You're not attached to me. You're not attached to Moxley. You're not following us from the shadows. We are protected.
Are you staying?
No.
This is too convenient, this, what's coming through now.
Yeah.
The group decided to leave quickly. Sounds can travel strangely through empty buildings, making distant noises seem close. The timing could still have a normal explanation, but do you think something inside was answering them? On June 10th, 2026, Dan from the YouTube channel Cursed Urban shared an overnight camping trip in a forest rumored to be connected to Wendigo stories. The area was already surrounded by stories of strange voices, shadowy figures, and unexplained encounters that had frightened visitors for years. He went deep into the woods to investigate the disturbing reports surrounding the area. But as the night continued, strange warnings, screams, and unexplained sounds began to make the forest feel far less empty. As they moved farther into the woods, the atmosphere became increasingly uncomfortable. It felt as though something hidden nearby had already become aware of their presence.
There has been disembodied voices being heard in the woods. There's been shadow people. There's been even apparitions spotted. But yeah, we are out on our preliminary hike, and we're gonna go see what we got, and then we'll return to the campsite and chill, run some spirit talker, run some other tests, and see what else we get.
Then, a disturbing warning suddenly came through the recording feed. The voice sounded familiar, but the message was not expected. Moments later, a violent impact exploded somewhere nearby, leaving him frozen before he finally called into the darkness. Nothing answered.
Dude, it said leave right now, and then that was loud. Hello? Anybody back there?
After another quiet pause, a sharp scream came from deep in the forest. It sounded human and disappeared almost as quickly as it began, leaving only silence behind.
Gotta take my back. Yo, dude, I just heard somebody scream. I just heard somebody scream from that way. I just heard like a woman scream. Let's say, what response did I just get? I just heard a scream.
Soon after, several loud explosive sounds broke through the woods, yet nothing could be seen in that direction. The growing uncertainty left him with the strong feeling that something nearby was watching from the darkness. Dense trees and uneven terrain can make screams and loud impacts echo in confusing ways, making their true distance difficult to judge.
I literally just heard gunshots that way too.
She doesn't like you.
She doesn't like you. Guys, I'm getting that feeling again. Getting that feeling that I'm not alone out here, that I'm being watched or something. I'm just getting the feeling that I shouldn't be here, that I'm not supposed to be here.
Still after the warning, the scream and the later sounds, would you have stayed there or left immediately? On June 1st, 2026, Dee from the YouTube channel Dee's Dark Adventures entered a remote decaying farmhouse far from any sign of civilization. The abandoned building had already produced strange activity, including shifting objects, unexplained footsteps, and sudden cold areas that seemed unusually close. As darkness surrounded the property, the house began to feel occupied despite appearing empty. As Dee continued exploring,
I'm at this farmhouse. It's abandoned. I stopped by here yesterday, which I'm gonna upload that video on the other channel, which you've probably already seen it. This place is creepy. I heard a woman's voice. Hello? I can't turn the camera around quick enough. It's just woods. Okay. Hello?
her nervousness grew. Suddenly, a heavy movement rushed through part of the building and disappeared from sight. The sound seemed strong and deliberate, reminding her of similar movement she had noticed during an earlier visit. Her fear increased as more unexplained activity continued around her.
Something big was in here. I heard something run off yesterday too, so. Someone was just in here. Hello?
The damaged floor made moving through the house difficult, and one door refused to open despite her efforts. Still shaken, she called into the silence, asking whether anyone was there.
Hello? Hello? Where is is all this movement coming from, guys? The floor is worse than the one I just fell through. I can't get the door to push open. Okay. All right. I'm still shaking, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, hello. Is there anybody here? I want to gift you something, and I'm sorry for intruding. I thought there was people living here. Maybe I could help.
She then noticed two unusual changes around her. A faint breeze was present, but it did not seem enough to explain what she was seeing, leaving her increasingly confused. Later, Dee sensed something large moving upstairs before apparently coming back down again. She called out but received no clear answer as the tension continued to rise.
Those two spots look... Oh, what the heck is going on? I don't know what's happening. Is that... Maybe it's just the way the... I don't know, dude. That's creepy. Only ones do... Oh. All I do is back up and it looks like it's changed. I don't know, guys. This place is weird. I'm just coming and recording. What is that?
Old buildings can produce sudden noises when weak floors shift wood contracts or air moves through broken walls. These effects can sometimes sound like footsteps or movement coming from another room. Maybe the old farmhouse itself caused some of the sounds, but the repeated movement made the experience difficult to ignore. Do you think the building was truly empty? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.